Are you the star of your own movie or just a cameo in somebody else's? Let me walk you through the three main questions you should be asking yourself in order to figure out whether you are the star of your own movie. So, without any further ado, let's dive into it. The first question you need to be asking yourself is: am I happy with my life? Are you happy with your life? Are you happy with your career? Are you happy with the way things are unfolding in your life? Because I wasn't happy with my life. I was a full time stay at home mom, and I was very resentful of the fact that I had to cook day in and day out for my family. Because I had been a high performer previously, I was an investment banker, but I had resorted to the kitchen, which was not making me happy, and I did not know how to break out of this cycle. So, the first question you need to ask yourself is: are you happy? Are you happy with your life? Are you happy with your job? So, in order to become happy, in order to be happy with my situation, I decided to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. So the first thing I did is that I had these certifications as a fitness instructor. So I started a small fitness business by the name of UltraFit Health and Fitness. Now, I'm trained in Pilates as well as exercise to music. So I started a business which did really well, and people were getting some great results, and they were shedding a lot of weight until I decided to wrap up the business myself. Now, why would I decide to do that? Something was off. I was not happy because something was not resonating with me, and I decided to wrap up the business. The second thing which I did, which I really enjoyed doing, was that I got a job in a local TV channel where I hosted my own live show on social issues. I talked about anything and everything from female empowerment to empowering women to the water shortage in the city, the situation of law and order in the city. So that was a project that was very dear to my heart. I really enjoyed doing it. It came very naturally to me. I did about 35 live episodes, and for me that was a big achievement. I had never done a live show before, and and I really enjoyed doing that until I got a call one day and they said that they don't have the funds to renew the show for another season. And that was the end of that show. I was very disheartened when that happened. And I tried to interview at other places, but somehow or the other, I did not get a suitable job offer in the industry at that time. And I was still not happy. I still didn't know that things were not adding up for me. So finally, I got a job offer as a headmistress of a local high school where I had the opportunity to teach as well. So I thought this would be great for me because, I like teaching to high school children. I like teaching economics because that's what I've studied. I have a master's in economics. And I thought it would be something good. It will take me out of the house, and it will tick the box of that self-worth and confidence thing. And I will try to feel that I am contributing to my to the society, and it will increase my self-worth. So I did this job. It was not very challenging. I was the headmistress, so a lot of logistics to take care of, which was fine. And I worked there for 2 years, and after 2 years, I got a call from them and I was made redundant. Now, this time around, being made redundant in this job was heartbreaking. It was terrible because I did this job to the best of my ability. And then to be told that, your services are not required anymore. I mean, it was heartbreaking because this was not my favorite job to begin with. However, it gave me that sense of confidence and gave me that sense of accomplishment, which I was after until I got this call that, I had been fired. And that was a real reality check for me. I really wanted to break down, and I did. I broke down and I didn't know what was going on with my life at that time. So one thing I decided is that I will not look for another job until I have figured what is it that is amiss from my life and why are things not panning out for me. It was at that point, and it was 2018, when I decided to take a step back and look deep inside for answers. The second question you need to ask yourself is, are you living your life by integrity? What do I mean by that? I mean to say, do you have boundaries for other people? Do you respect yourself so others can respect you? I will give you my example. When I was in high school, I was a very good girl. I was a goody two shoes. I wanted to please everybody. I wanted everybody to think that I'm a very polite, nice girl who's very well brought up. So I would not raise my voice. And I had a specific accent, which everybody laughed at. But I still decided not to react. So what happened is that I got bullied in high school by a bunch of boys who would not let me speak. Every time I would speak or every time I would have to say something, it became a big joke until it became so ugly that my father had to step in to resolve the situation. All because I did not know how to set boundaries for myself. I wanted to be a good girl. I wanted to be a good person. And I let people walk all over me. And I realized that much later that that is not acceptable to me. That is not who I am. I am not living in integrity if I allow people to walk all over me. This continued through college as well, whereby I tried to set boundaries for myself, but I still wanted to be popular. I still wanted to have a lot of friends, and I still reverted to being my old self, which was a people pleaser. So my boundaries were not strong enough, even in university, and I really had to learn it the hard way that this is not who I am. This does not make me happy. Until much later in my life, my late 30s, I decided to put myself first. I decided to put myself first in my family, in my friend, in my social circle. I created boundaries for myself. I demanded respect. I demanded that people talk to me a certain way. And if I am engaging with people, and if I am including them in my life, I expect that they include me in their life the same way. But if anybody decides not to engage with me, not to respond to my calls or my messages, I immediately understand and I cut them off. I'm not the old person anymore. A non response is a response in itself. I have created very strict boundaries for myself because I want to be faithful to my frame of reality. I want to live my life in integrity. I am the person. I respect other people and I demand respect in return. If I love you, I respect love in return. I do not wish to be walked all over, and I want to create a space for myself where people respect me. And believe me, when I changed myself and when I created these boundaries for myself, people started respecting me a lot more than they did in the past because I was putting myself first. And the message I was sending was that I am important to myself and I demand to be respected and I demand to be treated with dignity. So when you change yourself and when you put yourself first, the message you send to the universe is that I am first. But when you put others first, the message you send to the universe is that I'm second. So once I changed my attitude and I started putting myself first, I commanded a certain level of respect from my peers and from my friends. And that's amazing because I know now that I am living in integrity and I'm true to myself. And I am not pleasing people just because I want to be a part of their social circle. And I'm not doing things which make me uncomfortable just to please people. For example, after I became a cyclist, I have to wake up very early in the morning to go for my training. So late night dinners and late night parties just don't work well for me anymore. My friends who love me, they understand that, I have a different life now. I'm a professional cyclist. I train for cycling and they will invite me to coffee parties or lunches, or on the weekend during the day where I'm able to spend quality time with them. But the message that I wanted to send is that I'm living in integrity and I matter. And that is the question you should be asking yourself as well. Which brings us to the third and final question, which is ask yourself, are you being dissuaded by the way your life is unfolding? If the answer is yes, then you are not living in integrity and you are not living in your frame of reality. You're not the star of your own movie. I will give you my example. Events which happen in our life are 100% and absolutely neutral. The meaning which we assign to them determines their outcome. I will say that again. Events are 100% neutral. The meaning which we assign to them is what determines their outcome. So I already gave you my example. When I got fired from my job at the local high school, I could have broken down and I could have been shattered by that. I was very hurt. I was disheartened. But I was not shattered. The meaning I gave to that was that I need to look deep inside for answers and I need to figure out why this has happened in my life so I can fix my life in the future. And the meaning I gave to this particular event was that something really big is waiting out there for me and it's right around the corner. And believe it or not, within less than a year, COVID-19 happened and I was introduced to cycling. Everybody went out cycling on the roads because everything was shut down. So, as a way of exercising, I was introduced to cycling. And from that day onwards, I became a professional cyclist. Now, the reason I became a professional cyclist is not because everybody was cycling and I just happened to be better than them. That was not the case. My grandfather was a champion cyclist in Punjab. He was chosen to represent all India at that time at the World Olympics, which he was not able to go to because of World War II, which broke out soon enough right after, and the Olympics were cancelled. So when I was introduced to cycling, I told myself that this has to be a sign from God. There is something bigger in this for me. And it is not just that I've taken a bike, and I'm cycling with the rest of the people. The meaning that I assigned to this event was there is something in this for me because I have been chosen by the universe or by my grandfather to uphold his legacy of cycling, and that is my job. It is my purpose. He has chosen me to carry on this legacy, and I was honored when I realized that I had been chosen, or the meaning that I assigned to it was that I have been chosen by the universe, by the higher power, to carry on my grandfather's legacy of cycling. That's when I won my first gold medal. Immediately, right as I began cycling in the very first national championships, I won my first and my second gold medal in the road race as well as the team time trial. So events are 100% neutral. It is just the meaning that we assign to them which determines their outcome. So are you really the star of your own movie? Just to give you a recap, the first question which you need to be asking yourself is, are you happy in your life? Are you happy with your job? Are you happy in your current situation? And if not, then you are not the star of your own movie. You are just a cameo in somebody else's movie. The second question you need to ask yourself is, are you living your life in integrity? Do you have boundaries for others? Have you created a set of boundaries where others have to respect you and you have to respect them? Are you living in integrity? If not, then you're not the star of your own movie. And the third and final question, which you need to ask yourself is, are you getting dissuaded by the way your life is unfolding? If yes, then the meaning that you are assigning to the events which are unfolding in your life needs to change. As I explained, events are 100% neutral, and it is the meaning that we assign to them which determines their outcome. So thank you so much for watching. If you like my video, you know what to do. And I have attached a video for you, the 3 simple steps to find your purpose and passion in life after the age of 40.